I just heard shots ring out and then got shot at. I know there's no way he could have made it out of the car.
I told you you can't trust these niggas. Now Puffy done killed Tupac, man.
We know something's wrong with you, but it's okay, because M said it's okay and Dre said it's okay.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with this.
If I wouldn't have never met him, I wouldn't have never been involved in this bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't never made a call to Diddy. I got Diddy's number, just hit him up. Yo, Diddy, what up? Never had.
And the winner is Eminem, the Eminem Show.
Get your hand out my pocket. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing on the channel. Get your hand out my pocket, man. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, man. Yeah, you gonna make me. Okay, I'm telling you all right.
Diddy had strings all over the map. Politicians, billionaires, rap giants, Hollywood names, the whole roster, and every room lit up when he walked in. He wasn't just in the game, he shaped the guest list. At one point, even 50 Cent hung close before that bond flipped into a loud public standoff and the vibe went ice cold fast. But there was one person who never stepped into Diddy's lane. No matter who vouched or how shiny the invite looked, Eminem kept the wall up from the jump. Not in the 90s, not in the 2000s, not ever. While others chased lights, rooftop parties, and power tables, M kept it clean, quiet, and far from the whirlwind. He moved low-key, circled tight, boundaries tighter, and he didn't blink. That line from that track lands heavy, and it isn't for show. It points to a real split in how they moved and what they stood for. The subtext wasn't subtle, and the streets caught it quick. By the time M dropped that record, the tension wasn't new. He'd been sending clever jabs and coded lines for years while he was still grinding for a real shot. Meanwhile, Diddy was already posted on the summit of hip-hop, calling business plays with major money and one of the most talked about labels in the culture. Bad Boy Records had superstar shine, and for most artists, that deal was the dream you frame on the wall. But not for Eminem. Marshall wanted a different road, one he'd pictured since day one, no shortcuts and no extra noise. Instead of chasing the glitter path, he signed with Aftermath Records, locked in with Dr. Dre, and built a run that bent the sound of rap and stamped its own rules. That choice wasn't just a move, it was a message about loyalty.
They was not scared of Suge Knight. They was terrified of Suge Knight.
Craft and picking purpose over parties. But here's the wild twist. Way before the fame, before anyone outside Detroit even knew his name, Eminem had already fired a bold shot straight at Puff back in 1996 on his raw underground track, Effin' Crazy. He was still grinding in the shadows, but that bar, it hit like a spark waiting to catch fire. That early line wasn't just a diss, it was a straight-up warning. It proved that Eminem never cared about playing it safe or bowing to the big dogs running the scene. Even when the odds were stacked sky high.
Suge's outside. Suge's outside. Everybody like, he was running, dropping.
So Suge came, he had some Mexican niggas. Now we from New York. You ain't never seen a nigga with a tattoo on his forehead. 118th Street crew. I'm like, what the fuck?
He came swinging, ready to test anybody's crown. And Diddy wasn't the only heavyweight catching that side-eye. Eminem had smoke brewing with another so-called giant, Suge Knight. Suge, the man behind Death Row Records, the label that once ruled the entire West Coast, home to legends like Tupac, Snoop Dogg.
When I knew Eminem was real, he's like, I don't give a f, man. This is when I 50 niggas outside, what's up? And then the nigga Suge just walked away. The Mexican niggas looked kind of confused, like they didn't know what was going on.
And Dr. Dre wasn't just known for power, he was known for fear. People used to whisper that Suge was the real-life boogeyman of hip-hop, the dude you never crossed if you valued your peace. His empire wasn't built on smiles, it was built on intimidation, control, and chaos. Suge's motto was simple, power first, mercy last. But M, he didn't care one bit about Suge's street aura. None of that shook him, not even slightly. That fearless energy came blazing through during one wild moment on the set of 50 Cent's In the Club video shoot. Out of nowhere, Suge Knight rolled up deep with a crew of Mexican gangsters, flexing like he still ran the streets. The tension hit instantly. You could feel the air get heavy. Everyone there knew Suge's presence spelled trouble. But Eminem, he didn't blink, didn't move, didn't even think about backing off. He stood right there, solid and unbothered, showing that he wasn't scared of anyone. That day proved it loud and clear. Eminem wasn't just fearless on the mic, he was fearless in real life too. Eminem didn't back off for even a second. Instead of hiding inside or letting security deal with it, he walked straight outside to face Suge Knight and his whole crew head on. No fear, no hesitation, just pure raw confidence bursting out of him like a live wire. Everyone on that set could feel the pressure in the air, but M stood tall, locked in, like he had something real to prove. That moment wasn't just bold, it was straight up legendary. After that explosive standoff, M didn't just let it fade away. He hit the studio and dropped an entire diss track aimed directly at Suge Knight. He was ready to unload everything on wax. But here's the twist. Nobody ever heard it when it happened. Because Dr. Dre stepped in and told him to fall back, saying it wasn't his war to fight. Dre wanted to keep the peace, knowing exactly how deep Suge's reach ran through the streets. It was a power move disguised as protection. But that track didn't stay hidden forever. Years later, it leaked, and wow, it was brutal. Every single bar landed like a heavy punch, showing just how deep that tension really ran between M and Suge. You could hear the defiance in every word, the kind of energy that said, "I'm not scared of anyone." Think about it. If Eminem had the guts to stare down Suge Knight, one of the most feared men in hip-hop history, why on earth would he ever be scared of Diddy? That's the real question. When you look at all the names, deals, and drama Diddy's been tangled up in over the years, it's tough to even say who was more dangerous. Suge had that raw street power, the kind that made people whisper. But Diddy? He played the game from inside the system, moving pieces quietly, pulling strings like a master planner. Two different kinds of power, but both carried serious weight. But back to M, he wasn't done firing shots. In 2000, on the Marshall Mathers LP, he aimed straight at Diddy again. The bar itself wasn't the harshest he'd ever written, but it carried serious weight. It was a sharp reminder that Eminem wasn't here to play nice with hip-hop's upper circle. He was here to shake it up. Then came another line that took things to an entirely new level. M mentioned Diddy's girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, and let's just say his words hit way darker than before. This wasn't a joke or a clever punchline, it was raw, unsettling, and designed to shock. That lyric made people stop and think, realizing just how far M was willing to go when he wanted to make a point. He rapped, "Sorry, but I don't give a E. This chick was my own mother." Then followed it up with another twisted bar. "I have a son and a new brother at the same time, and just say that it ain't mine. What's my name?" That line caught everyone completely off guard. It was wild, darkly funny, and clearly meant to stir chaos in the industry. And Diddy? He didn't say a single word back. No diss track, no interview, no response, nothing. Total silence. Still, the look on his face during that era said enough. He definitely didn't find it funny. Not one bit. That silence spoke louder than any comeback could. Even with those bold shots flying, there was never a full-blown feud between Eminem and Diddy during the early 2000s.
I told you you can't trust these niggas. Now Puffy done killed Tupac, man.
They kept their distance, like two lions circling the same territory, but never lunging first. Still, everyone watching could feel it. There was tension in the air, and neither side needed to say a word for people to know it. Both men were too busy running their own kingdoms to worry about trading shots. Eminem was smashing charts left and right, dropping multi-platinum albums under Dr. Dre's sharp guidance, while Sean Combs kept reinventing himself. Puff Daddy, then P. Diddy, then just Diddy, each name change marking another empire move. He was building Bad Boy into something even bigger, shifting gears from flashy mogul to full-blown industry architect. Their paths rarely crossed, except for those rare award shows and elite industry events where both were treated like hip-hop royalty. One of those rare moments came in 2003, when Diddy actually handed Eminem the Grammy for Best Rap Album. The crowd roared, cameras went wild. But if you watch that moment closely, the energy felt tense, almost too polite. There was this chill in the air, that kind of quiet tension where both men smiled for the cameras but deep down knew the past was still sitting between them. What's wild is that Diddy always kept it real when it came to Eminem's talent, no matter what history was hanging around. In a 2003 Rolling Stone interview, Sean Combs actually showed genuine respect, calling M one of the greatest MCs to ever bless a mic. He said, "I think Eminem's up there with the best of it." That line shocked people. It wasn't shade, it was straight acknowledgement. Diddy even made sure to note that Biggie and Tupac were, quote, a different caliber. But in his eyes, Eminem still stood as something special in his own lane. That moment proved Diddy wasn't blind to Marshall's impact. He saw the skill, the influence, the raw fire that couldn't be ignored. And even through all the rumors, all the layered connections behind the scenes.
Now let's talk some hip hop shit, man. I want to talk to Puff right now.
Yes, yes.
Now it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah. Check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect. But I appreciate you as a journalist asking.
All right.
Thank you.
Their worlds kept crossing in the most unexpected ways. Two moguls, two legacies, always circling the same space, but never fully stepping into each other's orbit. Back in the early 2000s, Diddy had his sights locked on a rising powerhouse, 50 Cent. But that deal, it never went down. Word around the industry was that Diddy passed on signing him because of 50's Wild Street beef with Ja Rule.
They never made a call to Diddy, really? Yeah. I got Diddy's number, just hit him up. Yo, Diddy, what up? Never happened.
A feud that was way too risky for Bad Boy Records to touch. That single decision ended up flipping hip-hop history upside down. Instead of joining Diddy's camp, 50 signed with Eminem and Dr. Dre, and boom, one of the most explosive alliances in rap was born. Together, they sold tens of millions of records, flooding the charts and turning 50 into a worldwide name. That move didn't just make hits, it linked M and Diddy forever through one man caught between both worlds. For a while, things cooled off. No drama, no smoke, just distance. But by 2015, it all got messy again when a jaw-dropping documentary hit the internet. Murder Rap Inside the Biggie and Tupac Murders. In it, retired LAPD detective Greg Kading claimed that Diddy had allegedly ordered Tupac's murder for $1 million, and that one of the shooters was Keith D. The second that hit the web, 50 Cent jumped on it like wildfire. He didn't hold back. He echoed those claims publicly, hinting that Diddy might have really been tied to Pac's death. The statement blew up fast, reigniting all the old suspicions and dragging Diddy's name right back into one of hip-hop's darkest, most controversial mysteries. Then years later, Eminem stepped into the mix. In 2018, he dropped his now iconic diss track, Killshot, a direct strike aimed at Machine Gun Kelly. The entire rap world stopped to listen. It was M reminding everyone that he still ran the mic. But in the middle of those sharp-cutting bars, one line stood out, a subtle but powerful nod that pointed right back toward Diddy. That lyric sent fans spiraling into theories, debates, and endless breakdowns, wondering if M had just reignited the quiet tension once again. It was slick, bold, and pure martial, dropping smoke without ever saying names outright. But then came the final line of Killshot, the one that sent shockwaves through the entire game. Eminem ended the track with, "I'm just playing, Diddy. You know I love you." That single bar lit the internet on fire. Fans couldn't stop replaying it, dissecting every word, every tone, every pause. People instantly split into camps. Was M just joking, or was there a hidden message tucked in there? The debates went non-stop. Some said it was classic Eminem humor, that twisted sarcasm he's known for. Others swore it carried something deeper, especially given the long, complicated history between him and Diddy. Social media went wild, hip-hop forums exploded, and the theories started flying like wildfire. Then came whispers from behind.
Dude just ducked his head, and the first bullet went in his head, then the next one's hit him. It was like he was doing a break dance trying to jump in the back seat or something.
The scenes, and things got even spicier. According to Joe Budden on his podcast, Diddy wasn't laughing at all when Killshot dropped. Combs was reportedly furious after hearing the track. That calm, "you know I love you" line suddenly didn't sound so lighthearted anymore. It sounded like M was poking right at something Diddy didn't want touched. The tension wasn't just creative, it felt personal. Back in the day, Diddy could shrug off M's lyrical jabs like they were nothing, brush them aside, no reaction, no heat. But this time, it was different. That Killshot closer cut too deep, right near the topic he spent years avoiding. It wasn't just a diss, it was a nerve hit straight on. For Diddy, anything connected to Tupac has always been the one subject that flips his whole energy. Ask him about Pac, and his whole demeanor changes. He dodges, redirects, or shuts it down completely. The moment M casually tied Diddy's name to that old controversial rumor, it wasn't just entertainment, it was reopening a wound that's never fully healed. That's why this time, Diddy couldn't play it cool. It hit a nerve that's haunted him for decades, something he's tried hard to keep buried under success, business, and silence. And that's what made that "I love you" line sting even more. It was delivered with a smile, but loaded with history. Later on, when Eminem talked about his beef with Machine Gun Kelly in an interview, people couldn't help wondering, was he still standing by that final line? Or was there more behind the curtain that he just wasn't saying out loud? He dropped one small detail, but it spoke volumes. In that interview, Eminem hinted that he and Diddy weren't connected at all, not even on a basic level. He made it clear they didn't have each other's numbers, didn't talk, didn't text, nothing. That simple comment said it all loud and clear. No friendship, no alliance, no behind-the-scenes link whatsoever. Just two heavyweights in hip-hop living in totally separate universes. You'd think after all the chaos that unfolded in 2018, both men would keep their distance for good. But nope, just a couple years later, their names got tangled again in 2020. When Eminem dropped his album Music to Be Murdered By, the lead track Godzilla came swinging with energy, and tucked inside that rapid-fire verse was another slick mention of Diddy. It wasn't a direct diss, not this time, but fans caught it immediately. It was quick, subtle, and just enough to remind everyone that the old tension was still there, hiding under the surface like smoke that never really clears. But that calm didn't last long. By June 2020, things heated up again, fast. Out of nowhere, an unreleased Eminem verse leaked online, and it was fiery. The track was recorded a year earlier for the remix of Conway the Machine's Bang, and this version carried some serious bite. In the leaked verse, M went straight for Diddy's media company, Revolt TV, calling them out with sharp, unapologetic precision. No filters, no sugarcoating, just M in full attack mode. The tone was ruthless, the delivery cold and confident, the kind that makes everyone stop mid-scroll. The moment the verse hit the web, it caused an instant ripple through the hip-hop community. Fans everywhere were debating, was Eminem reigniting his old tension with Diddy, or was he just venting about how the media spins things? Social feeds blew up, podcasts dissected every lyric, and people couldn't decide if it was beef or just business. Either way, one thing was clear. No matter how much time passed, the shadow between these two icons never really disappeared. It just waited for the right verse to come roaring back to life. Less than 24 hours after that leak set the internet ablaze, Eminem stepped up to clear the air. He jumped on Twitter and dropped a statement straight from the source, admitting the verse was written in the heat of the moment and was never meant to go public. He made it clear he had respect for Revolt TV and didn't want any drama with Diddy or his crew. The apology came quick and clean, but the buzz? Oh, it was already too loud to quiet down. Even after M's post, people kept talking nonstop. Was there still silent tension between these two titans? Was that verse a flash of old feelings? The speculation wouldn't quit. But the story took a wild turn when the real storm started. Not from Eminem, but from Diddy himself. By the fall of 2023, Diddy's world started collapsing fast. Multiple women stepped forward with heavy allegations of sexual assault and abuse, painting a dark and disturbing picture of what might have been happening behind closed doors. But the biggest shock came when Cassie, Diddy's longtime ex-girlfriend, filed a lawsuit that detailed years of alleged mistreatment, control, and violence. The claims rocked the entire entertainment industry. Headlines were dropping daily, fans were stunned, and suddenly Diddy, one of hip-hop's most powerful figures, was at the center of chaos he couldn't spin his way out of. And just when people thought it couldn't get darker, another bombshell hit. Keith D, the same man long rumored to have key information about Tupac's murder, was arrested. What made it even wilder was that before his arrest, he'd been all over YouTube doing interviews, openly talking about his supposed connection to Diddy. He even claimed that Puff once asked him to help handle the situation with Tupac's murder, and admitted he was personally involved in it himself. That revelation sent shockwaves through the music world. Suddenly, decades-old rumors came roaring back to life, and every conversation online turned into a mix of disbelief, outrage, and curiosity. Nobody thought those old ghosts would ever resurface. But now, they were front and center again, shaking the foundation of hip-hop's history and dragging Diddy's name back into the shadows he thought he'd escaped. Riding the wave of all that chaos, Eminem came back swinging harder than ever. He dropped his album, The Death of Slim Shady, and this time, he didn't hold anything back on Diddy. One track in particular, Bad One, had everybody talking. On it, M laced sharp, cryptic lines that seemed to point straight at those infamous Diddy parties, the same wild rumors that have been whispered about online for years. He spit, and me offering you is nothing new. It's what I love to do. This is subterfuge, just to screw with you, and yeah, this much is true. That verse hit like thunder. On the surface, it sounded playful, but underneath, it carried layers that fans couldn't ignore. The internet lit up instantly, with people dissecting every word, every pause, trying to decode if M was once again aiming directly at Diddy. One thing was clear. His razor-sharp pen was back at work, stirring a whole new storm of controversy. Then came another track that took things to an even darker level, Antichrist. On this one, Marshall pushed boundaries with chilling precision. He referenced the shocking footage that surfaced showing Diddy allegedly assaulting his ex-girlfriend Cassie, a video that had sent shockwaves through the entertainment world just months earlier. M didn't tiptoe around it. He brought that raw moment straight into his lyrics, using it as a mirror to show how far Diddy's once golden image had fallen in the public eye. The reference was short, but it hit hard. There was no escape, no spin. It was a lyrical reminder of how ugly the headlines had become. Fans and critics alike were stunned by how directly M called it out, turning real-life scandal into art that cut deep. But the coldest, most cutting shots came on the track Fuel. That's where Eminem fully unleashed. No filters, no caution, just pure lyrical fire. Every bar dripped with venom, precision, and years of bottled-up tension finally exploding. You could feel the emotion behind every punchline. This wasn't another playful diss, it was a statement. In Fuel, Eminem didn't just take aim at Diddy, he dismantled the entire myth surrounding his name. He torched the flashy image, the power narrative, the untouchable aura that had followed Diddy for decades. Fans could tell instantly, this wasn't about clout or competition anymore. It was personal, it was deliberate, and it was meant to leave a mark that couldn't be erased. By the time the song faded out, the message was clear. Eminem wasn't just calling him out, he was burning down everything tied to that legacy. In Fuel, Eminem unleashed one of his most controversial wordplays ever, and the entire hip-hop world froze for a second. He spit, R-A-P-P-E-R, spelled without a P, spells raper or rapist, then flipped it again with, and the S-A-S, short for sexual assault. The crowd couldn't believe what they were hearing. It was a brutal double entendre, clever, shocking, and raw all at once. The kind of line that instantly makes you rewind just to make sure you heard it right. Then, without missing a beat, M followed it up with another jaw-dropper. R.I.P. Biggie and Pac, both of y'all should be living. But I ain't trying to beef with him, cause he might put a hit on me like Keith D. Get him! That verse sent shockwaves through hip-hop. Nobody could ignore it. Eminem was clearly hinting at those decades-old rumors about Diddy's alleged ties to the murders of Tupac and Biggie, a topic most rappers wouldn't ever touch. But M, he went straight for it, like only he can. And just when people thought it couldn't get any more intense, the Fuel remix dropped, and M pushed the narrative even further. He rapped that Biggie's death was just a domino effect of Tupac's murder, bold, chilling, and dangerously specific. Fans couldn't believe he actually said it out loud. The internet instantly blew up with theories, timelines, and wild connections trying to decode what he really meant. This wasn't just Eminem stirring the pot. It was him lighting a fuse under one of hip-hop's darkest conspiracies. People were replaying verses, analyzing bars, and debating if M knew more than he was letting on. Every lyric felt intentional, like he was peeling back layers most artists wouldn't dare touch. After everything Eminem laid out on the death of Slim Shady, one thing's crystal clear. There's no friendship between him and Diddy, no secret handshake behind the scenes, no quiet truce, no industry peace talk. It's dead silent between them. Eminem's loyalty has always been with 50 Cent, and that bond runs deep. As long as that's the case, M's never gonna be standing next to Diddy. Not publicly, not privately, not ever. And from the looks of it, Diddy's feeling every bit of it too. Those bars weren't random. They cut deep, right where it hurts the most. What started as subtle jabs years ago has turned into a full-blown rift, one that's now written in rhyme for the whole world to hear. After 50 Cent dropped his explosive documentary spilling old industry secrets, Diddy reportedly sent him funeral flowers. Yeah, you read that right. It didn't feel like a kind gesture. It felt like a warning wrapped in roses. That move alone spoke volumes, and honestly, it wouldn't be shocking if Diddy's holding the same kind of quiet resentment toward Eminem right now. The tension between these power players runs deep, and it's clear. M's never been afraid to shake the foundation. From Suge Knight back in the day to Diddy in the present, Marshall Mathers has always faced power head-on. No flinching, no backing down. Just raw confidence and brutal honesty every time he steps to the mic. He's not scared of status, fame, or threats. If anything, that pressure just makes him sharper, hungrier, and more dangerous with his words. And if you think this story's wild, you haven't seen anything yet. The next video dives way deeper into the chaos, exposing even more unexpected names that are tangled in this web of music, money, and secrets. Some of the connections will straight up blow your mind, so go check it out right now and tell us what you think after watching. It only gets crazier from here. But before you do, drop your thoughts below. What's your take on this entire situation between Eminem and Diddy? Do you think it's all just lyrical smoke? Or is there real tension hiding between those bars? We want to hear your take. Every opinion counts. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and comment. You don't want to miss what's coming next because trust me, it's about to get even hotter.